It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
It's time for a weekly cup of coffee with Will and Chris right here at Slumberland at the Lake. I'm William Holtz. This guy's Uncle Chris. Got a good show today, my friend.
Hey, man, I'm feeling the money. Show me the money. My brackets are rocking,
baby. I
baby.
want to talk about this year's bracket. Against all odds, I think I'm in dead last on the entire crew. Well, maybe besides Megan, but
Megan's
dead
worse.
last besides Megan.
I'm shocked because you're so good at picks. I mean, you just killed me in the NFL picks.
It's not over, baby.
Well, it's over for you, brother.
I could have both of my teams in the championship. We're going to see Michigan against Baylor. Michigan's going to win it, and then you're going to cry because it's going to be one of those last-second defeats.
That would make me cry. That's for sure.
So the bracket is just one thing. We're going to be talking about super important local upcoming elections next week. Of course, some crazy things surrounding the city mayor.
You've got some special thoughts for us today.
Yeah, I'll offer some commentary around Mayor Morowski and that situation, and we'll also have Gavin Griswold join us on the set. We'll talk with local business owner. That and a whole lot more, but first, we owe you this message from our friends right here at Slumberland.
Hey guys, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. I know I've mentioned it before, but it bears worth mentioning it again. We have 20% off all of our Slumberland items, and on top of that, we're doing 60-month financing. A deal like that is hard to beat. All right, with all that savings and the special financing, you're going to want to come see us here at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where it's always a good life.
Man, Slumberland at the Lake is so great. Not only the biggest selection at Lake of the Ozarks for furniture, home decor, but the cool thing is they've got a lot here in store you can come in and take with you, which is hard to find right now.
Man, and I tell you what, they have just got so much stock right now because all the trucks that didn't get here during COVID came the last few weeks. So they've got a lot of great stuff here. It is magnificent. You need to stop by west end of Osage Beach Parkway, Slumberland Furniture. We love them. Jill Ray, just love them.
Daryl and the crew. All right, so our first topic, Chris, you've been paying attention at all? Have you seen what's been going on here locally with the mayor?
Pretty crazy. We're talking about Mayor of Lake Ozark, right? Jerry Morowski. Story came out in lakeexpo.com a few weeks ago about how he has been investigated by state investigators for really not good practices, right? I don't know how you want to say being involved with prostitution and all that stuff, which I think he's admitted to.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff.
And I'm going to offer just a short opinion. Now, I do want to say, before we go into this is my opinion, this is my commentary around this situation, because we here at Lake TV, we have a big responsibility, and we don't love to get into politics and things like that.
We try to stay out of it.
Sometimes we do want to offer our opinion, and this is my opinion on sitting Mayor Jerry Morowski. So obviously the findings recently have been pretty shocking, and there's three elements to me that are hard to fathom. First is the crimes and how little it seems to affect the accused. Second is the fact that nobody within the city or with power or in control has voiced an opinion and said, hey, we want you to step down. And third, probably the most shocking in my opinion, is the support he's getting from some of the local business owners and members of the community, even with everything out there. So the initial article comes out, and when Lake Expo came out with that, they got some heat for that. There was a lot of people that said that was politically motivated, but if you actually dug in and you read the story, you saw pages and pages of affidavits and police reports and investigations with the FBI. And the crazy thing is, the forum we had last week, That's where I was just bamboozled. First, because no one addressed the situation, and then at the end, Mayor Morowski comes out and addresses the situation. But he comes out and he paints this sob story about, I lost my wife of 40 plus years, and listen, I'm sad you lost your wife, man. And I, more than anyone, can emphasize with someone with cancer. My mom's had it 3 different times. We're super involved in the Relay for Life and the ACS, and it is a debilitating disease. It's sad. And so I don't wish that on anyone. However, the fact that you lose your wife does not excuse committing a crime. And maybe you don't think that prostitution's a big deal, which has been admitted to. Maybe you don't think that there's been an abuse of power, but if you want to follow the paper trail and look at some of the statements, and if we want to play some of the recordings for you of some of the calls into the Boone County Jail, which you can get with the Sunshine Report, into the Missouri State Highway Patrol, and listen for yourself and see what was going on, I think there might have been some abuse of power. But what can't be debated and what can't be argued is statutory rape of a 16-year-old girl. Yeah, I get it. You thought she was 19 or 20, and at first you said, I never did. And let's go ahead and pull up right now. Let's look at Mayor Morowski's re-election Facebook page. Let's pull that up. Okay, as you start to look at everything that's on there, let's look right here at bullet number 3, posted last week. I have never had any sexual relation with anyone underage, nor had it ever been alleged to me that I had any such relations. Okay, so you say this, and this was posted after this audio clip was released by LakeExpo.com. We're going to let you give it a listen.
It very explicitly says that you told them you paid for a prostitute and that she turned out to be 16, and Missouri law at that time would have made that a class.
Yeah. Well, first, I do not, I never had, this is the first time I've ever heard that she was 16. It did happen. I'm going to tell you that. I'd rather you didn't print that, obviously. I thought she was 20. That's what I believe she had told me. I'm as shy at, one time, and I grant you, I made a mistake. Okay, but I hate to have to pay for that, by the way.
So you hear it right there. I hope you don't use that. I hope that doesn't come back to get me. Well, it's going to, and I get it. Initially, you thought she was 19 or 20. Well, I thought that $20 million in the bank was there for the taking, so I robbed him at gunpoint. It's still illegal, and there's no statute of limitations on this situation. Now, of course, we've seen people argue that there was no charges filed, the investigations are over. I wouldn't be so sure about that. And also, you've seen lots of times, maybe you've never seen different shows on TV, but sometimes when you're in trouble, there's ways to get out of trouble. I'm not saying that you did anything wrong, but you be the judge. You decide on that. And what's even crazier, Chris, is when I look up and down the Bagnell Dam Strip, knowing that these allegations have been made and that these audio recordings are out there, and there's still businesses on the Strip that are proudly putting his campaign sign out there. And what's even crazier is at this forum, no one, like I said, within the local government had the audacity to step up and say something. And you would think people within the local community would care, especially if they're involved in government. For instance, president of the Board of Aldermen in Lake Ozark is Dennis Klotzer. He is also alderman of Ward 2 in Lake Ozark. Now, if Dennis Klotzer's name sounds familiar, it should. He owns Viper Communications and KRMS, and he is a longtime, very well accomplished disc jockey out of St. Louis, one of the most accomplished guys in journalism. I'm just sitting here asking myself a question. If you are the owner of a local, at one point in time, they were the most trusted news radio station at the lake, maybe you wouldn't be involved in government because it could be a conflict of interest. I don't know. You're supposed to be the watchdog. So if there is something going on within your local government that isn't right, it isn't just, maybe you want to find that out and report that to your constituents, the people in the community. Or maybe you don't. Maybe instead, after all these allegations, you come out and you defend him. So far as defending him, you even post this on your Facebook page. Now let's show you the Facebook post courtesy of KRMS owner and alderman in the city of Lake Ozark for Ward 2 and the president of the Lake Ozark Board of Aldermen, Dennis Klotzer. Look at his Facebook post. Wow. Okay, so that is his stance, that is his position, and if you want to hitch yourself to that, good luck and God bless, my friend. But I can tell you, a lot of people down here at the lake, they are not okay with this. I am not okay with this. And so maybe all of this wasn't enough to get you to think that maybe this guy shouldn't be mayor. So Friday night, I decided to go down to the Bagnell Dam Strip. I decided to go to a few of these establishments and do some digging myself. Again, this is just my opinion. I cannot say that any of these things are facts. I can only quote 3 different individuals that I had the opportunity to talk to. First being a waiter and bartender. I will not give her name to protect her identity. She has been working in the bar industry at the lake for over 12 years. She said that she met this individual, Mr. Morowski, about 7 or 8 years ago while she was in the industry. And ever since that day, she has been made to feel uncomfortable. And the first question that was asked of her when meeting this man, he said to her, "Well, doll, where do your parents live?" Kind of interesting. Second person I talked to was a bartender. She's not been here for real long, but she does work at one of the establishments, proudly toting this man's sign. And she said, "I cannot believe the owners still have that up. It makes me feel weird. He was here earlier tonight, and I just get the EBGBs every time I see him." Again, I can't say why these people said these things. These are just what they told me. And the last was a member of the city of Lake Ozark. I won't say what position this individual was, but this individual said, "My hands are basically tied and it really sickens me." So those are what people are saying that I had the opportunity to talk with up and down the strip. And it makes me sad, it makes me a little bit sick, but the lucky thing is there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way I feel and will do something other than electing Jerry Morowski mayor of Lake Ozark. This would be a huge black eye on the Lake of the Ozarks. And as we talked about a couple weeks ago, we as a community have to draw that line in the sand, and we never cross that line. And this is one of those opportunities where that line is sitting there and we cannot cross it because it will not be a good thing for the lake. And I don't want to hear about it's good for business. The lake is going to be good with or without Jerry Morowski financially. Let's make sure that we take care of this place morally and ethically as a community, and do not vote this man in. Again, my name is William Holtz, and this last bit has been my opinion and my commentary surrounding the city, Lake Ozark Mayor, Jerry Morowski. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with community member Gavin Griswold. All right, as we welcome you back, you'll see this is not Uncle Chris. This is Gavin Griswold, who's the owner of Shawnee Bluff Winery and Vineyard here at Lake of the Ozarks. And Gail, that's what a lot of us know you as this community advocate. We know you love nonprofits. We love your establishments. But here recently, you've actually gotten involved in some other things, and you've thrown your name into the cap for the upcoming Camdenton School District School Board. That election is next Tuesday. And so since we've got you here, tell us how this came about and why you've decided to get involved in the school board.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me here, Will. And yeah, well, my kids have been going to the school for the last 5 years, and everything has been, we chose Camdenton. We really wanted to be there for different reasons, and it's been a really great experience with the teachers. Everybody's been great. My kids love it there. But about a year ago, there was a student advocate that was on the advisory, the advisory part of the school board, and she had a lot of concerns that the higher level classes were being cut. And so I went to that school board meeting, and students were speaking out and really questioning what was going on, and the board really didn't engage with them. It was really disappointing to see that, and just kind of watching how the board currently has been communicating or not communicating with the district. I just felt like there was a lot of things that needed to change as far as our representation in the community.
Very cool. And so a lot of people, may not know because maybe they haven't kept up, they haven't done the research, they haven't attended any board meetings. But as somebody like yourself who has gotten incredibly involved and attended a lot and done a lot of research, what would you say are 2 or 3 of the most pressing issues right now at Camdenton that you think it's important that voters within the Camdenton School District know?
So right now we have a debt service of $86 million. If you go to the Emma website, I think it's like the municipal bond tracking, it shows $62 million in debt, but the debt service is different, and that's what people really need to focus on, and that's $86 million. And we're hemorrhaging money, and we have large class sizes. So what happens is when you have so much debt, it starts to trickle down the bottom, and all the really important things start to be cut from the bottom instead from the top. So that's kind of what happened, I think, with the students last year. They're concerned their classes were being cut, and you have to really follow the money, like everyone says. And you see that the class sizes are too big. It creates a culture of teachers being overwhelmed, students being overwhelmed. So we need to figure out where the money is going. We need to understand what things are more important to invest in, and that would be our teachers, smaller classroom sizes, and just there's also support staff that I've noticed that gets paid about $13,000 a year, way below the poverty line, and they're just disproportionately compensated, and so that I think that needs to change as well.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that's important to note is the setup of the Camdenton School District in relation to the superintendent now. Is it unique the way that Camdenton's board is set up?
So there's actually a few different structures for school districts. You can have a school board, superintendents like we have, where we have one head superintendent and then 2 assistant superintendents. And that is a somewhat normal structure. But then you also have schools that also have CFOs, HR directors that are separate from superintendents. So I think we have a very wealthy district. We have about $55 million a year in revenue, and that's what we take in. And we don't have one financial officer, or nobody with a background in finances. And one of our superintendents is doing that, and I think she's doing the best she can with that. Not a lot of criticism there necessarily, just that that's not the expertise.
Yeah.
So what I would like to see is a head superintendent, and then a financial officer, and then an HR director, and they're separate. And they need to have the expertise in that. They need to have an HR background, and they kind of need to be separate from the superintendents, because the teachers need to be able to go to them, or they need to be separate departments.
Yeah. So Gail, only because we don't have a ton of time, I'm going to give you an opportunity for a closing thought. But if you're interested in finding out as this starts to filtrate, Gail, you're very available. If people want to ask questions, they can reach out to you, and you'd be happy to share some of the information, some of the research you've done. And before we let you go, this is going to be your opportunity to leave the voters in the Camdenton School District with a final thought as we head into Election Day next Tuesday.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I think one of the most important things is to get out and vote. A lot of people that I've talked to when I go out in the community don't realize that there is a election going on, surprisingly. I know a lot of us know, but
Right.
A lot of people don't know. And there's also older people in the community that don't have kids in the school, and they don't think that they should vote either. And I tell them, majority of your taxes goes to the school district, and you do need to show up and vote, and we need everyone. This is a low turnout election historically. So, and just to understand that my goal is not to be an obstructionist, it's to really start digging deep, have the tough questions. It is going to be a team. It's a board of 7 people. So I just want to bring some transparency between the board and the community. So I look forward to earning the community's vote.
And we are back, man. I'll tell you what a action-packed show so far. We had my little commentary bit.
That was a lot, man. That was I tell you, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, but I mean, it's important to me, and that's why I wanted to put that out there.
Yep.
Of course, we got to talk with Gavin Griswold, and so before you start boasting about your bracket and we look at, the Final Four, which, we recorded this. We didn't really know what happened in the second half of the Elite 8 game, so I'm praying that something drastic happens. But he's going to be boasting shortly about his bracket, because he's got like a 99.999% chance to win it all, and Ricky's got that other .0001. So before we even talk March Madness, you got a couple cool local headlines we got to talk about.
I do. Actually, I want to remind everybody, we've been having so much fun on Sunday nights at Sing Your Heart Out, Captain Ron's, right? So we're 3 weeks into the 10-week run. And every week is a new winner that qualifies for the championship round.
Yeah.
So, but we're taking a break this Sunday for Easter Sunday.
Right.
So no Sing Your Heart Out at Captain Ron's this week. So, but a week from Easter, we start back up.
And this Sunday for Easter, Captain Ron's is the place to be. Ooh. They got it all going on. I was going to tell everybody real quick. 9 to 1, they got a crazy brunch with a mimosa fountain. And then the cool thing is 10 o'clock, they got a beachside church service.
How cool is that?
Boat or by land, really, really cool. They do the Easter egg hunt for the kiddos at noon, and the Easter Bunny's going to be there, so you get pictures, you can hang out with the Easter Bunny. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for Resurrection Sunday.
Not rabbit season, is it?
No.
Okay,
It might be. I don't know.
That might not be good for the kiddos, So Captain Ron's, but no Sing Your Heart Out this week. Having a great time with that. If you do karaoke, or if you like to watch karaoke, sometimes it's a train wreck, sometimes it's great. Come join us for that, because it's fun. We have a lot of fun.
He's talking about when I sang a couple weeks ago, and it was really bad.
And that's brought to us by Roof Masters, right?
Our friends at Roof Masters,
Absolutely.
residential and commercial roofing. They are the best. Make sure you give them a call. Okay, so what's our first or our next local headline?
Okay, so, and just kind of piggybacking on your commentary about what's going on in Lake Ozark, mayor race and stuff, bicycles, skateboards, scooters, and segways, hoverboards, apparently are going to be outlawed on the Strip. That's a new story. Lake Ozark Board of Aldermen this week approving the first reading of an amended ordinance to get rid of all these things, which is causing a bit of a stir. I really don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing. And people are really, looking at this, thinking about this. The ordinance would exclude medically prescribed, ways of getting around for people that need that.
Right.
But I don't know, being a newbie to the lake, is there a lot of that happens on the Strip that I'm sure there's a lot of bikes and skateboards and stuff like that.
I think we've seen an increased amount, and I think that's probably why this is coming into effect. I kind of have mixed emotions because people love to have those things, but I mean, when you talk about some of these events that take place on the Strip, whether it's the parades, whether it's the pub crawl, whether it's just the weekend, the car shows, hot summer nights, whatever it would be, things with the shootout, you see so many people, you start having bikes and skateboards and things. I mean, it could get dangerous, and so I think that's why we have this, even with the sidewalks and even with the improvements, and hopefully going to see some road improvements coming over the next few years. I think it still does create somewhat of a safety issue when you have that many people on the Strip.
Absolutely. So it may actually be a good thing, but it's being debated right now, and that's kind of looking like it's on its way in. Okay, for people like you and I who are nearly professional fishermen, right? I mean, I've caught like 3 fish in my life. I've tried a lot harder, but they just don't seem to like my lures or
I get so bored. I'm not.
So there is a right way and a wrong way to dispose of fish waste. Okay. I mean, but it makes sense when you think about it, because if you're out there on your dock or on the water or whatever, you don't want to see a whole lot of fish guts floating by, right?
No,
or do you? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Never really gave it a lot of thought.
I know. I thought that exact same thing when I saw this story. Department of Conservation reminds the public to dispose of the waste responsibly when cleaning fish. Okay,
so how do you do that?
Okay, that was my thought too. Okay, I don't know. But apparently acceptable ways are to throw it in trash receptacles, which to me is kind of nasty, right? You're walking by a trash and what's that? Right? I mean, but maybe the better way, and I did wonder about that, it is a good way to dispose of clean fish, just throwing it back in the water.
No, I think you should bury it and give those poor babies a proper burial and departure.
Yeah, taps and everything like that.
Never gonna see them, never gonna smell them.
So, but I did wonder that, because my father-in-law is actually a really good fisherman, and he cleans a lot of fish, and he just throws it back in the water. And apparently, according to the Department of Conservation, that is a good thing to do. The deeper water, the better, because obviously the more shallow water, the more it's going to stick around and stink and stuff like that. So
there you have it.
With fishing season coming, there you go. One of those things that you kind of think about but never really think about, and what's right and what's wrong. I thought that was interesting.
Very.
So
it's a nice little tidbit from Uncle
If I ever
Chris.
do catch another fish, I'll know how to dispose of the waste.
Of the remains.
That's right. And then, have you ever heard of the nighthawk and the kitty hawk? Lake of the Ozark hotspots back in the day.
I can't say that I have.
I hadn't either, but here's the story. After years of disrepair, the Nighthawk and the Kitty Hawk buildings are getting some new life in Camdenton. The city was going to just tear them down. And the community apparently wanted to keep them because their history in Camdenton. So the owner of Janine's Flowers, Janine Bullock, and family have purchased the buildings and going to renovate them, bring them back to life, hopefully, put new businesses in there and stuff like that. So if you remember the Nighthawk and the Kitty Hawk in Camdenton, they're coming back, they're saved.
The Nighthawk and the Kitty Hawk live again.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of the Wright brothers, right?
Yeah.
Of that Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, right?
Okay.
Hey, Uncle Chris is smart. So there you go, Nighthawk and Kitty Hawk, man.
It lives again.
Almost like the top of the hour here with some of this trivia.
I'll tell you what, it's like we're watching Lake TV.
Hey, don't you love you some Lake TV?
I can't say that I don't. I definitely do.
Oh yeah. Well, since you own it, you gotta like it. Right?
I'll tell you another thing is this guy. I see a lot of you watching Lake TV anymore. You're all over, man. Do you ever sleep?
Oh, not really. You and me, we stay up all night, talk to each other. What are we going to do today?
What are we going to talk about on this week's show?
I've forgotten too. We were talking about Sing Your Heart Out earlier. Weekend at the Lake is back. Bobby Spice, one of your favorite guys in the world.
Bobby Spice, twice as nice.
Ooh-wee.
He's the man.
Yeah.
And he'll keep you updated on all events.
I mean, I look like Brad Pitt and Fabio and a few other actors, but he's even better looking than me.
It's like Chris goes, I look like all of them. Yeah, like they all had a train wreck.
Mushed together,
You're all over the place, though. Fabio, Uncle Chris, Brad Pitt. I mean, that's quite a...
I got to cover all the bases, right? Yeah.
You're out of control.
Absolutely. But I am winning the pool.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And the weird thing is, we don't even know what happened in Tuesday night's games, but we look at the Final Four, and the only one that really has a shot is you or Ricky. So, I mean, you have Gonzaga winning it all.
Yep.
Over Baylor.
Over Baylor. And he's got Baylor winning it all over Gonzaga. So really, whoever wins the championship, if it's one of those two teams, it's going to be either me or Ricky.
It's probably going to be Michigan beating Baylor in the championship. Will's making a ferocious comeback to win it all, and you'll see Uncle Chris crying.
That would
happen.
happen. Yeah. You know what? I don't put that out of the realm of possibility, though, because you have some sort of juju going with these picks, I don't know.
Juju, baby.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's coming. Listen, it's never out. You remember what happened in the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you won everything.
Do you remember when Atlanta was up in that Super Bowl 28-3 with 3 minutes left?
Yep.
I bet with Ross. You know Ross.
Yeah.
He texted me and we had already a bet going. He said double or nothing. Obviously Atlanta's going to win. And I said, I'll take it because you're counting Brady out way too early because he had already crowned Atlanta on Facebook.
And they came back and won
I doubled down and said Brady's going to come back and they're going to the Super Bowl. And Ross still is crying over that.
I bet.
And that's what's going to happen in this tournament. Michigan over Baylor. And I'm going to bottle Uncle Chris Chirs and sell those to you guys.
Well, there you go. We'll find a good charity for that, right? Hey.
Andrew's ready. He's ready.
He's still in it too, by the way. He's got Michigan to win. So
I mean, if I'm holding on by a hope and a prayer, Andrew's holding on by, I don't even know, because he's got even less of a shot than I have.
Brackets are so cool, though, whoever came up with these, because even if you don't care, you got a dog in the fight when you fill out a bracket and you keep an eye on the games and stuff like that. It's good stuff.
I went from getting a report from Andrew about his online stocks every 5 minutes to getting a bracket update every 3 minutes as soon as March kicked off. And Andrew's not the biggest basketball fan.
I know.
But you're right. March Madness brings out the fan in all of us. And we'll have a winner here soon. We'll crown our Lake TV first annual bracket champion.
You ready for a quote?
I hope we got a quote of the week and some trivia.
How about this? How about a quote of the week? Whenever you find yourself doubting how far you can go, have you ever been there? I've been there.
Yeah. Oh,
Whenever you find yourself doubting how far you can go, just remember how far you have come.
Yeah.
Hey, love that, baby. That's
love
good.
it.
You ready for some trivia?
Love some trivia.
What time of the year do couples break up the most and the least?
I'd say they break up the most in December or January. They break up the least in July or August.
Okay. According to Facebook, a study they did, couples are most likely to break up in the spring and 2 weeks before Christmas. Isn't that interesting? The lowest breakup time is Christmas Day and from August through October.
Okay. August through October.
Yeah,
I like it.
Write that down and be safe from Mrs. Uncle Chris.
You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
All right, so that is gonna do it
Yeah.
for this week's edition of A Cup of Coffee with Will and Chris, right here on Lake TV. For our friends at Slumberland, Jill and Daryl, of course, our crew, Andrew,
We love 'em.
Ricky, Megan, back in the studio. This guy's Uncle Chris. I'm William Holtz. We'll see you guys next week.